It's the Brad and John Show.
It's the Brad and John Show. Today's date is the 10th. We're in the double digits for March, 10th of March, 2026. And this is the B block, the Bravo block, or as some people call it, the what block, John?
The BS, because it's generally just a little headline surfing there, Brad. Hey, can I give you a compliment about your kissing PDF?
And by the way, what's interesting about that is when I started that commercial, I didn't get your mic down quick enough. And when it started the commercial, you went, oh, like that, like you were like
yeah, it's more of a vomit sound. What I love for folks who don't know, if you're driving through the Westplex at some point or in West St. Louis County, and you hear Brad's advertisement for beagreatkisser.com. Over the weekend, immediately after that commercial, the same female AI voice came on to pitch us on listening to religious music. And I think that's beautiful, Brad, because you can have an AI voice that's pitching hot, passionate makeout sessions. And then because, well, it's Brad, you have the exact same AI voice pitching you on salvation through Christian music.
John, it's not the same.
And you know what? And then she can also pitch you on a PDF of Step Up to Radio. You know what they have in common, Brad? Step up, take your kissing to the next level. Take your podcast to the next level. Take Christianity to the next level. It's the same AI voice. I love it, Brad.
It's not. It's different. Honest to God, it is.
Okay, it's exactly the same.
It's not. It's different. It's a different.
It is. Go ahead.
It's a different. It's not an AI voice either. Okay. What are we doing?
It's time for Brad's top 3.
It's time for Brad's top 3.
You're hijacking my show. Okay.
Brad.
And what do we do in the top 3?
It's number 3.
It is. Okay. And John had the story about the county council meeting last night where Mike Elam, they're talking about the ice and the whole bit. Now, here's what's interesting. County council kicks off about 7 o'clock. I was in St. Charles at about 6:30 last night. And, you know, John would never do this. If you see someone in distress, like they have a flat tire, I've done this before. I've pulled over, and as a matter of fact, Shelley Barr is my witness. I have helped people change tires and things like that.
What
okay?
a hero, Brad. What a philanthropist and a man that doesn't value his life. Go ahead.
You roll up your sleeves.
Can you call 911 because you see somebody with a muffler hanging down?
Well, that can be dangerous. There is a young woman at the corner.
Go ahead.
At the corner of 5th Street and Bass Pro Drive. And she was stopped in the middle of traffic, and she was outside of her car looking very harried. And,
was she hot?
I'm not going to say. Okay.
Okay, so that means no, so I wouldn't help her. Go ahead.
And she was very hot. No, I'm sorry. I can't believe I just said that. You got me distracted.
She was harried, which does not mean she has hair on her body. It means like she looks frustrated.
Right. She was very frustrated, and she was out walking around her car looking very disoriented. And I pulled up next to her, and I said, hey, are you okay? And she says, I don't know where I'm at. And I said to her, what do you mean you don't know where you're at? She says, I've never been on this side of the river. I didn't know people lived here. And I go, well, where are you heading? She says, I'm heading to someplace in downtown St. Charles where they have the county council meetings. And I said, oh, you just go down this street, down 5th Street, and when you hit Highway 94 or First Capitol Drive, make a right, and it's right there on your left. You can't miss it. And I go, what are you going there for? She says, I work for NPR. I work for National Public Radio St. Louis. My name's Lacretia Wimbley, and I didn't know anything existed on this side of the river. And I said, oh, yeah, there's lots of stuff going on in St. Charles County. She says, you know, we never go over here because we don't have any donors from over here, and we don't think anybody lives in St. Charles County. I go, yeah, it's pretty bad. There's only about close to 500,000 people now. Oh, no way, no way. So she shook my hand, and she thanked me very profusely, and she went on down the road. See, John?
What a fantastic story. So I guess what you're trying to say is that black women don't know how to drive.
I don't think she's black. Lacretia? She's...
Yeah. Who would... with a name like Lacretia, I bet she came here from Nebraska.
Lacretia Wimbley. I bet you any money she used to be on the Addams Family show. Wasn't that the...
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I stand corrected, Brad.
No, that was Morticia.
Now, you have a piece of information about this. I said that you said that I didn't have. What is it?
That was it.
Oh, it's the punchline about a black gal getting lost in St. Charles County. I love it, Brad.
A St. Louis public radio person get lost in St. Charles County because they never crossed the river. Okay, ready for number 2?
Yes, I want to hear it.
It is number 2. Okay, while I was cruising the headlines this morning, as what John said, I saw a headline that attracted me, and then I looked at the picture. That's exactly what happened. I saw the headline, and then I looked at the picture. Have you looked at St. Louis Public Radio today, John? No, it's stltoday.com. Have you looked at that?
Yeah, I go to that website every morning, obviously, for my website. Yeah, what about it?
Go down about 10 stories, and there's a title of the article that says, New President of St. Louis Mercy to oversee large renovation at Creve Coeur Hospital. Okay? Did you see that story by any chance?
No, I did not.
Okay.
And I'm bringing the website up right now. But why don't you go ahead?
She's a hottie. That's all I'm going to say. That's my part. That's my number 2.
Okay, and what now? So you? Okay, all right. So there's an attractive woman who's involved in the healthcare industry. That's awesome, Brad. Oh, I see it here. Yeah, she's giving, as the youngsters would say. I hope nobody. Well, I think she's giving a lot of Stephanie Bell here.
She's a hottie, John. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we would. Based on my analogy there, I think we would say that she's attractive. Now, is there a punchline here that I'm not aware of, or did you just see this picture and you decided that this woman is attractive?
Well, part of it.
Oh no, wait a minute. Hold on, I just looked at it. Never mind. Okay, she is not giving Stephanie Bell. She is not giving the Stephanie Bell vibe. But for men that are into this particular look, that's great. Oh, and did you see who's quoted in this story, Brad?
It's John Combest.
No, I'm having a moral dilemma of if I should tell you this or not. But this story quotes Bethany Pope.
And who has been nice to me and returned my calls and things like that.
Yeah. She actually is able to write them off as a community service for the elderly. So, Brad, was there any other content other than the fact that you think that this woman is attractive?
John, if you really want to know, having been recently, matter of fact, can I tell you something? People make fun of me, okay, for a lot of different things.
Why do people make fun of you, Brad? I can't relate to that.
I was in the emergency room. I can tell you when the emergency room was. I was in the emergency room on
2 weeks ago on a Saturday.
2 weeks ago. It was a Friday, but turned into a Saturday. I didn't get out till like 6 o'clock the next morning, okay? I was in our 2/20/2026, okay? I still have my hospital band on. And as a normal feature, I don't take my hospital bands off until they literally deteriorate, because that's good luck for me. Because typically, when I have my hospital band on, nothing happens to me. Get what I'm saying, John?
Okay, so based on magical thinking, you think that it repels bad luck if you keep a hospital thing on?
It does. It repels bad luck.
Okay, there you go. That's good. Now, let me see. Is there a correlation? Have you tried to single-handedly remove a giant SUV from a trailer by yourself?
Sorry, rolled. Okay.
Or maybe that's just poor life choices.
First off.
And this woman's name, if you want to follow along on the home game, Tricia McGusty. And she is now the new leader for St. Louis Mercy. She's going to oversee a large renovation at Creve Coeur. She would appear to be more Brad's type, and I think that's awesome.
Okay. Okay, John, I will say one other thing here, okay? We have some very kind and nice listeners to the radio station, okay?
Ugh, that sounds terrible.
You want them
kind and nice.
You want them to
stick a spoon down my throat.
You want them to be jerky and terrible people and reprehensible? Is that the kind of people you want?
Yeah, and go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Brad. Pardon me.
Someone mailed me, and I'm not kidding when I say this. Someone mailed me a St. Christopher's medal.
And what's the point of that for folks in the Catholic faith? What is the point of that?
St. Christopher's medal is the traveler's medal. And it's, matter of fact, there's actually, if you listen to late night talk radio on, on the Patriot, they have the Red Eye Radio Network. And there's a organization called the St. Christopher's Fund. And what they do is they help truckers. St. Christopher was the saint that's essentially like the transportation saint. And if you have a St. Christopher's medal, supposedly that keeps you safe during your travels. So I now have a St. Christopher's medal. So how about that, John?
I believe that. And also in transportation, the St. Christopher Christie medal. You can present that at any Buc-ee's and you can get free donuts.
That's the producer, Christy. Yeah, and matter of fact, and
I saw your Facebook post the other day. It was really funny, Brad. You did some sort of gimmick with producer Christy, and you had a funny line in there about how like she's totally not AI. She just tries to act animatronic. I thought that was funny.
Oh no, she didn't you see the thing we did the show? You don't remember this, John. John had amnesia. We did the show from Chuck E. Cheese, and she replaced Jenny Henney on stage. You remember Jenny Henney? Haven't you ever been to the Chuck E. Cheese and see the animatronic show?
I have been to Chuck E. Cheese. I didn't get the Jenny Henney joke. Was that? I guess I'm guessing from context clues that was a hen that was on stage?
Yes, that was Jesse, or is it Henny or Jenny Henney or something like that? Yeah, that's what.
Wow, I was distracted by the fact you somehow managed to misspell the word junkie yesterday, which I thought was hilarious.
I was describing my car, and I can describe my car any way I want. Okay, ready for number one?
Yeah, Brad.
And now, big finish, Brad's number.
This is going to be something Bill Eigel needs to listen to, okay? Bill, if you're listening, I know you're not, but someone turned Bill Eigel onto this segment. This is segment C. Excuse me.
It's segment B.
Block B of our show. First off, there's a horrendous story I'm going to read you, but the interesting part of the story is on the back end of this story, okay? Are you familiar with what's going on with GOP? He's from Texas. Tony Gonzales. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. And did he recently announce that he is not running for re-election?
Okay, let's give a little bit of background. First off, Tony Gonzales is from Texas. Part of the district he that he oversees is Uvalde, which had the horrendous school shooting there. And he is currently he's on his third term, going for his fourth term, okay? Mr. Gonzales has been in the news lately because of the fact that a rumored affair with a woman on his staff, which he has denied profusely, and the woman became very upset with the fact that he said, "I've never touched that woman." And for those of you who don't like horrible, horrendous things, you might want to tune out for the next 10 seconds. She got so distraught, one day she goes in her garage at her house, grabs a can of gasoline, goes into her backyard, dumps the gasoline over her head, lights herself on fire, and commits suicide. Okay? Horrendous death. He still said had nothing to do with her death. And now he's come out and said, yeah, we did have an affair because they got her phone and they took stuff off her phone and he was sending her nasty texts and stuff like that. Okay, that's not the part of the story I'm interested in. In 2024, he almost lost the primary to a guy named Brandon Herrera. And I know John will have no idea who Brandon Herrera is, correct? You don't know who he is, do you?
Yeah, I've read several stories about that campaign and Tony Gonzales and Mr. Gonzales.
Okay,
go ahead.
So you do know about Brandon Herrera, okay? Brandon Herrera, and what was interesting about this is that they had a primary, and we don't do that in the state of Missouri. At least I don't think we do. Essentially, it's whoever has the most votes wins the primary, correct? Isn't that the way it is in Missouri in all the different races?
Correct, yeah, and Texas has a runoff system.
Right, Texas has a runoff system. If you don't get 50, if neither the other candidates get 50% of the vote, they take the top two and they run them off. So the top two was Mr. Gonzales and Brandon Herrera. So they were getting ready for the runoff, and Mr. Gonzales was being pressured by the people in the House to resign, has finally said, okay, I'm not going to run for re-election. And they're still talking about throwing him out, actually not even letting him complete his term. Okay, the interesting part of the story is that in the 2024 primary, that Brandon Herrera almost beat Tony Gonzales 2 years ago. So there was going to be this big runoff. Well, now, because of the fact that Tony Gonzales has bowed out, it's Brandon Herrera. Now, what's interesting about Brandon Herrera is this is the thing where Bill Eigel should be listening. Where does Brandon Herrera get his money to promote his campaign, John? Do you know where he gets his money from?
Oh, let me guess. Is it AIPAC?
No. Take another guess.
No idea. Tell us, Brad.
From his YouTube listeners. He's a huge YouTube star. He has millions of followers on YouTube, and he's a gun guy. He's promoting guns, and he has some kind of a manufacturer. I don't know exactly what he makes. He makes accessories for guns and stuff like that. But he has financed most of his campaigns with money that he gets from his YouTube viewers. I mean, we're not talking like low dollar network stuff. We're not talking like retired guys who are 95 years old living in their house and every 2 days they have their account debited by Bill Eigel. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about people that have raised millions of dollars for Brandon Herrera. Millions of dollars. So I say what Bill Eigel needs to do, and by the way, John, if you're listening, Bill Eigel is now number 3 in the race. Right now, it's number 2 is Jason Law, and number 1 is Steve Elman. And how do I know that? Because of the a Survey Westplex, my new company that I'm doing, where
Yeah.
Survey Westplex. And what I do is I stand on the corner and I hold up a sign that says, "Who you going to vote for county executive?" And I stand out there for 10 minutes, which is a representative sample. And when the people drive by and they roll down the windows, "I'm going for Steve Elman." He was the number 1, and number 2 was Jason Law. Number 3 was Bill Eigel. That's the Survey Westplex.
Wow, and that has nothing to do with your own personal preference and how much you like them and how much attention they pay to you, right?
They don't pay any
That
attention
has
to me.
nothing to do. It's like your position on Francis Howell families. You're completely objective. I do like Westplex, though, Brad. Now, have you bought a superfluous domain that you'll stop updating in 2 weeks yet?
Not yet, but
Okay.
now that I mention it, somebody's probably going to buy it out from underneath me.
Yeah,
Okay,
I bet people will care. People definitely want to try to front run Brad Hildebrand.
But John, I think this is interesting because of the fact, think about it, you know politics pretty well. Do you know of any, especially on a national level, do you know of anybody who's been running for a national office that has like financed their campaign through YouTube?
Yeah, not that I can think of. I'm sure there have been some folks that have, like on a really low level, attempted to fund through some sort of social media network or something like that. But that's certainly an interesting story. And when you say that he gets money from YouTube, do you know, are they contributions like via like a Patreon, or would you say it's actual ad revenue from YouTube? And we might be splitting hairs there.
Well, here, let me go look at this real quick. And I had this up last night. I'm trying to find.
You always tout the website that makes up numbers about how much it wildly overestimates how much people make every day on YouTube.
Okay, here's a to give you an idea of how the power this guy has. Here's a thing, and matter of fact, here's a very popular video he put up, and I give you an idea. This is testing the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. This was put up a year ago, and it got 9.8 million views. 9.8 million views. Now, if I go to his, and I got to do this because you just mentioned, you know what, I forgot to do that because you're exactly right. I'm going to go to Starstat, which is one of my favorite sites. Starstat, STAT. .YT. I have no idea where the YT domain is, but okay. And I put in, there's Starstat, and I put in Brandon, BRANDON HERRERA, Brandon Herrera, and I put that in, and it brings up his page. His YouTube channel is worth, you take a guess on this, John?
$2 million.
$3.52 million. That's what his YouTube channel is.
And they're all AI automated estimates, right? That's the great thing about Starstat that you've been using for years, is it makes wild assumptions and guesses on ad revenue.
It's pretty accurate because I know some of the people that have commented about this, the accuracy, because what they're doing is they're just using the essentially, and you can find the numbers on this. It's not that hard to find. You can find the payouts for YouTube, and it has to do with and it's not necessarily. You can have people who both have 1 million views on are 1 million views on one YouTube, and one may make a ton of money, one may make not much money. It depends upon how valuable the advertising is for YouTube. In other words, there's some categories that garner high rates of advertising, and some categories that don't garner much for a rate at all, and that's how it's based on. And this is pretty accurate on a daily basis. He makes approximately $3,000. Weekly, he makes $21,000. Monthly, $94,000. Yearly, $1.129 million. And like, for example, on March 7th, he made $5,300. March 5th, he made $3,200. February 28th, $8,300.
So I think at 7:45, let's point out that he's probably the first candidate to finance a real congressional campaign with his own money. That's awesome.
And I think this is fascinating because Bill Eigel should be looking at this. But not only could he do the low dollar network, he could do the YouTube network, the YTN, the YouTube. Hi, I'm Bill Eigel. Have you seen my latest video I did where I'm actually taking apart cars? I bought a wrecked 1962 Pontiac and I rebuilt it. Watch my latest YouTube videos and you'll see how I did it with only a pair of pliers and a tweezer. Yes, and my budget on it was $3.22. Watch how I did it. And people go, oh my God, I got to watch that video. Right, John?
What a collaboration with Pick and Pull. Maybe he could announce that Pick and Pull is coming out to that new wetlands area out in St. Charles County that Great Rivers Alliance put together.
or I see this stuff. It's so funny. I see these things on, I'll talk about this. Remind me to talk about the transmitter sites in the next break, okay? Remind me to talk about transmitter sites.
Great.
And these YouTubers are not, this is actually a Facebooker who's Mr. Authority on transmitter sites. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Okay, you ready for this?
Yes, Brad.